You gotta feel like Spider-Man more than you've ever done before. It's all about feeling like Spider-Man.
Our Spider-Man is obviously more experienced Spider-Man. He's not just learning how to swing. He swings with a lot of style and a lot of confidence.
He's not, 15 years old. He's not just getting used to his powers. He definitely wanted to play up the fact that he has the ability to juggle between webs and melee and environment action and gadgets and switch between them pretty quickly.
One of the biggest reasons we at Insomniac connect with Spider-Man and with Peter Parker is that they're both underdogs.
Delivering that fantasy of I'm swinging through this concrete jungle gym with New York City and I'm doing it with speed, style, flow, fluidity.
It's all come together from prototype space to now you really get that sense of speed with the visual effects that are there.
It was a great challenge for us to take who we are, what we know, and just branch out even further as we build this giant city and try to satisfy some stratospheric expectations from fans.
It's the number one thing we knew we had to get right. It's the first thing we ever worked on in terms of building a Spider-Man game.
It's all come together from prototype space to now you really get that sense of speed with the visual effects that are there.
Similar to what we talk about combat. We want you to feel great instantly when you pick up the controller, but over time you start to see the complexity, start to see the depth.
Your R2 button is really your go button. We use that for both ground motion, where you start doing parkour over elements that might be in your way, and for swinging in the air. And so R2 throws out a line, searches through the environment to find that attach point. You're on a pendulum, and then at different points in that line, you get different momentum coming off the line. And so as a player, you're thinking about where you're releasing, then you can actually hit X off the line to get sort of a jump spring off. Different places, again, depending on where you are on the pendulum, give you either forward or upward momentum. Through the other moves, like the X button, again, will throw out lines ahead of you, or you can actually steer it to do quick turns. And they attach to buildings as well and pull you in a particular direction.
One thing we talked about is we didn't want to stop players. We didn't want to face plant. We want to just keep your momentum and flow going. And he's 8 years being Spider-Man. He's kind of fine-tuned to his traversal. So if you slam into a building, you just keep running up it.
Yeah, and when you hit that wall, we actually do take your input direction into account. So you can go straight up, you can go horizontal, or you can even go at an angle, and you've got steerability on the wall as well.
You have basically two options at the top. You can either keep going up and it'll kind of send you in a mid-air jump, but if you time the button press near the top of the building, it'll kind of catapult you over so you can keep your momentum going. And then what you do is you press X again to web zip forward. You can really just keep that rhythm and flow of traversal going and make it and can feel really pretty fast and fluid.
When you're above the building line, if you're too far above, there's nothing to attach to, and so we don't want anything to happen. But it doesn't make sense that you would just be stuck up there waiting to fall, right? You're Spider-Man, and so you can actually sort of throw a line down, get a pull down into the building line.
And you do have is it L3?
Yeah, so the L3 button actually sends you into a free fall dive, and that's one of the ways to get a lot of momentum pretty quickly.
There's also L2 and R2 together will zip you to a perch. So you actually throw out a line to a particular environment object, like a lamppost or something like that.
Yeah, lamppost, water towers, different signs in the city.
Yeah, and so then you'll follow those lines in, and if you hit, again, the X button, it's a lot of really simple button combinations that you can chain together. That X button will throw you off of that perch with, again, a boost of momentum. As you level up through the game, you actually do get some speed boosts, so you start going faster. There's also some of those moves that we've talked about that really give you bursts of momentum are unlockable over the course of the game.
You gotta feel like Spider-Man more than you've ever done before. It's all about feeling like Spider-Man. It's delivering that fantasy of I'm swinging through this concrete jungle gym with New York City and I'm doing it with speed, style, flow, fluidity, and acrobatics that at the same time is exhilarating, but almost at the same time, it's got a certain rhythm to it where it's a little bit relaxing. Like some people, hey, I'm just gonna go for a run because it actually calms me down. I imagine if sometimes Spider-Man in between would just want to swing around the city because it's just, that's what he does. And you have that feeling of relaxation within exhilaration. When it comes to combat, we really want to push this idea that he is this master of improvisation. He's not, 15 years old. He's not just getting used to his powers. We definitely wanted to play up the fact that he has the ability to juggle between webs, melee, environment interaction, and gadgets, and switch between them pretty quickly to give you a lot of player choice within each setup. The very basics of combat starts with melee, right? You have your square button and keep hitting it in a nice rhythm, and you're gonna do some really cool attacks. But that's kind of the start. You use that to kind of begin the rest of your abilities, whether it's holding it down and launching a guy up in the air, and then pressing it down again to jump up with him and continue attacking, then pressing triangle to web strike down, holding web strike to grab guys and throw them. It kind of starts with the basics of melee. We really want to get you off the ground and using your acrobatics, using your gadgets, and using your webs to feel more like Spider-Man. We really wanted to play to Spider-Man's strengths. We just didn't want it to be a brawler, right? He's so much more acrobatic, and he really has that sense of fluidity and flow in combat. But it's not just on the ground, it's constantly going back up and down, left and right, and using the environment to really deliver that idea of improvisation, and you're kind of in control of that improvisation. So I think of all the little things that you can experiment with. One of my favorite things to do is to punch a guy up in the air and then just slam him down, right, with my webs. But I was experimenting the other day with, hey, what if I punch him in the air and then I start webbing him up? And then I pull him down, and I noticed that the combat team had added the ability to, if he has a bunch of webs on him and then I slam him down, he's now stuck to the ground. It's those little things that you discover as you're playing the game. And since it's less combo based, it's more move and ability based, you can really start to experiment on. Or for example, you'll be punching a guy near a scaffolding, and then you do the web shooters, and now he'll stick to the scaffolding, and then another guy comes by and you can pull the scaffolding on the rest of them. So it's just kind of that experimentation. It lets you start to really try out a lot of different things, because there's a lot of different enemies coming at you. They're coming from all different angles, all different weapons, and using that to your advantage. I think it felt more sandboxy than I ever thought it actually would be. There are going to be moments where you definitely want to go in, it's going to be fast, and it's going to be hectic, but there are going to be opportunities, depending on how you want to play the game, where you actually can slow things down a bit, be a little bit more strategic, a little bit more cerebral, and actually take guys out without even alerting others. So you can kind of thin the herd before you go into it in strike. You have that flexibility within the game. We said this is more experienced Spider-Man. He's been doing it for 8 years. So we want you to feel like a hero right away, but we want you to feel like a greater hero over time. So we're gonna have a pretty deep progression system where you can unlock new moves and abilities over time, but also craft new gear, new suits and suit mods, and even you'll be improving the abilities of your gadgets over time. So when I thought about why Insomniac would be such a good fit for Spider-Man, one of the reasons why was our experience with making gadgets. And what's great is that you can access them in-game via a gadget wheel, just like you would see in a Ratchet game or Sunset Overdrive or even the original Resistance. We have the tripwire. I like it because it's so multifaceted, so you can use it. You can be perched above a bunch of enemies, and they could be on patrol, and you can stick it to an environment, and they'll be walking by a wall, and they'll get slammed into the wall, which is really cool. But at the same time, if you say you are in the middle of a fight, and you place on an enemy, and another enemy walks by, they slam together. So it's just a great multifaceted gadget. We have the web bomb, which is great for crowd control. It's just fun to be in the middle of 5 or 6 guys, throw it out, kind of rises in the air, and then just webs go everywhere. Now you can melee the guys, put them up in the air. What I like to do is send out a line, grab one, start twirling them around your head, and then toss them into the others. One of my favorites is the spider drone, the little guy that hovers above and shoots these rapid fire webs at enemies. You can either use to distract enemies or set you up for attacks. It has the personality of both Peter and Insomniac. So in some of our city activities, we'll have the main objective, okay, you gotta stop this storefront robbery, or you gotta stop this drug deal happening. But some of these objectives will actually have sub-objectives like complete 5 finishers, or take 3 guys out with your tripwire, those kind of things. So there's actually a level of replayability, but at the same time, you get extra stuff that you can use for customization. So it's kind of like, yeah, you completed the Fisk base, but did you complete all sub-objectives? Because that'll give you actually more currency to bring back and use into customization and progression. So it's really important for us that we want players to be the Spider-Man they want to be, so they can unlock the skills and the abilities that they want to. But at the same time, we talked about the gear and the gadgets and the suits and all the activities in the city that you complete will all contribute to things you need to craft those items. So we really want to make sure that not only you feel like a great superhero, but you're the superhero that you want to be.
Feeling like a wardrobe change. Been there, worn that. Yes! Now that's a suit! Yeah, definitely a keeper.
PlayStation.
The raft is secure, but I can't reach them over radio. Their comms must be down. What's your status?
Already here.
Yuri? I thought you said it was secure.
It was. Let's go. Maybe it's not as bad as it looks.
Love the optimism. But in my experience, when it looks bad, it's usually worse. Look out! Yuri!
I'm slipping!
Gotcha. Hold on! You okay?
Yeah.
Welcome to the party! Just in time for the fireworks! Looks like we made parole, boys! I'm out!
Electro? Why is he letting everyone out?
I'll head for the main control center and see how bad the situation is.
Got it. I'll go join the party. Everyone just quietly go back into your cells and lock the door behind you. Okay? Please?
Spider! Teach you to mess with me! Get him down here! Incoming!
Like fish in a barrel. That doesn't sound good. Oh, hi, Rhino!
Hope you like surprise, Spider!
Surprise? What is he talking about?
Hey, what's your status?
Me? Just trapped in a prison with every criminal I've put away in the last 8 years. No biggie.
Electro must be working for someone. He's not
This is too good to be true.
Scorpion, can you hold on a minute? I was in the middle of a phone call and it was business.
Charge him! Don't let up!
Lost you for a second there. You okay?
Not really. Electro, Rhino, and now Scorpion are all on the loose. What's going on in the rest of the prison?
Camera system's almost up. I'll give you a sit rep soon.
Okay, I'll keep tracking Electro.
come on, Spider-Man. I thought this was a chase.
Gotta stop this guy. If you tell me who you're working for, I'll go easy on you.
Can't stop it. But I'm flattered that you still try.
Nobody ever takes me up on that offer.
Gotcha.
Vulture! What?
Long time no see. We're going to have so much fun.
Sorry, no time to talk.
Still with me, huh?
Okay, I got the security cameras back online.
How's it look?
Well, it looks like the entire population of the raft has escaped. That makes 5 of your worst enemies that are now on the loose.
For a second there, I thought you were serious.
I am serious. I have to go. Some of them are heading into the city.
This is nuts.
Keep chasing. Party's almost over.
Electro, stop!
How do you like my new suit?
Dashing. Where'd you get it?
It's an exclusive club. Remember, he said not to kill him.
Good idea. In fact, we don't have to do this at all if you don't want to.
We definitely want to.
You?
PlayStation.
Yeah, this. Oh God.
Oh, this is great. I got my own little TV. This is perfect.
Yeah, I got it all.
Adam's doing a fantastic job so far. It's been really good.
So first of all, you're actually playing this right now.
Yeah. That's right.
And I do want to emphasize how beautiful this game is.
Oh, thank you.
But yeah, Brian, tell me a little bit about what you guys want to show us this evening.
So I mean, the big thing is, again, I think that part of the Spider-Man fantasy is to swing around New York City and, to have, not only just a great story, but have a bunch of different activities in that world. And we wanted to, give people who attend E3 an opportunity to experience that. So, obviously it's a big narrative-driven experience, but at the same time, a part of that superhero fantasy, especially that Spider-Man experience, is living within New York City and seeing that. So, Adam is one of he's one of our combat pro players because he's a combat designer, and again, he's just showing off some really awesome stuff that as you get better with the game, obviously, we wanted to have a pick up a play feel, but at the same time have a level of mastery and to really show off the improvisation that we've really been talking about a lot since we announced the game.
I'm digging this, like sticking dudes to walls and to the floor and stuff. That looks really, really satisfying.
I mean, I think the thing that's been really fun in these last, I would say last 6 months since we got back from the holiday break was every week I feel like I'll take the game home or I'll be playing one night and then I'll come in and say, wow, guys, I didn't know you could do that. So I think there's a lot of that, there's that sandbox nature to it as well. So, I mean, obviously you can, we have, we're going to teach you mechanics, but we want you to experiment with, his acrobatics, his webs, his gadgets, his suit powers. So combining all that stuff really allows for a lot of different gameplay and a lot of, Spider-Man's a very expressive character and we want players to be able to express that, whether it's in traversal or in combat.
It's gorgeous.
These animations, these animations are just blowing my mind.
Your studio has kind of been renowned for character animation and for, just fluid motion. I mean, did you guys take a lot of lessons from your previous games and really like hone in on those when you were developing?
I think animation's definitely been one of the hallmarks of our company, from Spyro to Ratchet to Sunset Overdrive.
Yep.
And I mean, I remember when the Sunset Overdrive reviews came out, one person actually wrote, it would be great to see Insomniac make a Spider-Man game. And I was like, see, we should make it.
See?
And
I think you waved your phone around to the whole studio.
Exactly. We took that kind of mentality and we just injected our personality, but also, what do people want, desire from a Spider-Man experience. So, it was really great as I remember probably around the end of the year, end of last year, someone wrote an article about the top things they want to see in Spider-Man. And they said they want to feel like an Insomniac game. So I think that's the thing we've been really layering on in this last year is to have that, it feels like an Insomniac game as much as it does a Spider-Man game.
And I love this traversal, I mean, just the fluidity of just moving over great distances very quickly. It looks like a lot of fun just moving around, and that's when you know you've got a great game.
Okay, so so how I kind of said like experimenting, but like sometimes, game development, we're in meetings a lot, and then sometimes you just need to like take a break. And what I used to find myself doing was just swinging around New York City. It was almost like therapeutic. It's just kind of like when I play other games, I just walking or running or even taking a car. It feels so more natural now just to swing around like Spider-Man. So it's definitely one of those things that has that, again, just like combat, that pick and play feel, but we want players to have a level of mastery as they play and get
What
better.
was that? Hold on a second. That's very interesting what you're saying there.
So like I said, Adam showed off, I think he showed off the tripwire, or it's basically a gadget that you can either attach to a piece of geometry and the enemies walk by, they'll get like grabbed and sucked back, but you can also attach it to an enemy, and if an enemy walks by, they kind of slam into each other.
That is amazing. This is so cool. What's this focus meter about?
So the focus meter is basically, there's kind of a risk reward. As you build focus, you can use it to heal.
Sid's having a religious
It
experience.
just looks incredible.
Okay, thank you. The team works really, really hard on it, really, really hard.
Clearly.
And the idea is the focus is kind of a way to, it's a risk reward. Like I said, you can either heal yourself or you can kind of, if you fill up the bar a certain way, you can actually pull off a finishing move. So, as you play the game, you kind of say, well, do I want to maybe heal myself real quick, or do I want to wait for that really extravagant move to kind of take the guy out instantly?
Got it.
Brian, a question for you is, obviously Spidey has, with his experience being under the mask for so many years now, in
8
your
years.
story, 8 years. Thank you. You got to be precise.
I got it. One of the first questions I get is like, is it an origin story? I'm like, no. That was after we decided that the webs were definitely attached to the buildings, we decided it's not going to be an origin story.
But back to the combat, I mean, Spidey's experience, he has access to a lot of different techniques and technologies. How do you balance out his experience with the fact that you don't want to overwhelm a player with options, right? You want to make it approachable.
I really, that comes down to our combat team, our traversal team,
like
and
this guy
our
right
designers,
here.
like Adam, and really going, okay, kind of handing that stuff out over the course of the game, finding those right spots where you kind of, okay, we're going to teach you how to punch and how to kick and how to punch guys up in the air and use your webs. But then we layer on things like gadgets and then the suits and the suit powers. And it's kind of giving over time. If we just, one thing with something like E3, we want you to feel great, right? But there's a lot to learn really quickly. So normal course development, we kind of find those spots in the game where it makes most sense to teach those mechanics. And then as the game goes on, we want you to master those because the game's only going to get harder.
Yeah, absolutely. Sid, what do you think?
I gotta say, this game is looking
Beautiful, right?
absolutely gorgeous. This is, I mean, this is just, I mean, it was looking spectacular to begin with, but this is on a totally different level. And I can just see that
so much.
I can see that polish, though. That's the thing, and that's what comes out in that final few months of development.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys watched the press conference, right?
Sure.
You saw all those games, those first-party games, and they all have a level of polish. And to be in a press conference with the likes of a Naughty Dog, a Sucker Punch, Kojima Productions, we are very honored to be, and we know there's a certain level of polish that people expect from a PlayStation game, especially a first-party game. So we want to be considered right up there.
Well,
and not to mention also from the Marvel, Marvel fans
course.
expect to have that perfect experience.
Of course.
May I just ask real quickly, as we're starting to wind down here, from a personal perspective, I mean, what's it like for you and for the team to be able to kind of look up at the big screen and see your game after all that time, all that work?
I'm known as a crier, so it takes a lot for me not to get choked up. Like right now, they're playing the theme song to the game in the background as we're sitting here, and I mean, this is an amazing industry, and to be part of it is one thing, but to work on something you truly love and something that when you were a little kid thinking, oh my God, could I ever work on a Spider-Man game, let alone be in video games, is just absolutely surreal. I use that word a lot when I describe working on this game, and to work with a group like Sony and work with Marvel, and that feeling is felt by so many Insomniacs, so we couldn't be prouder, and the support we've gotten across the board, not only from Sony, Marvel, but also the fans, has been spectacular.
Nice work,
Brian, it just looks incredible. I mean, there's no other word for it, and
you're flabbergasted.
I really am. It's stunning. I mean, just look at that. How can you not be blown away by that? But we do have a limited amount of time here. Brian, you're an industry veteran. You've been in the industry for a long time. I know this is a lifelong dream for you working on this game. And I want to thank you and Insomniac for making it.
Thank you for having us.
And for coming by as well.
Spider-Man was so awesome that it broke my mic, and I have to use the stick mic now.
I thought you just wanted to look different from all of us.
Yeah, I just wanted to stand out a little bit.
Yeah.
But Sid, actually, I think a little earlier, we were able to maybe get some footage of some of the amazing experiential stuff that's going on with Spider-Man. Right?
I mean, there really is something incredible going on here at this PlayStation E3 showcase. I mean, it's on a scale and a scope that we have just never seen before. And so we have people here, they're playing the game. We have a lot of hands-on sessions for folks that are here for the showcase. And the game looks great, but I just love the way this whole, I know her.
Oh, hi. There's familiar faces popping up on the stream.
But I mean, it's a great event here. And it's just, I wish we could get everybody in here to try this out and to just see what has been sort of constructed with Spider-Man and with actually another game we're about to talk about.
Yeah, we're about to talk about Ghost of Tsushima.
Why don't you? Yeah, Ghost of Tsushima. Yeah,
we have some. We sneakily snuck on a few amazing people onto our program as a helicopter goes by to mark this amazing.
Do you have time to check something out for me?
For you, Yuri, anything. I'm on my way. Bird watching? I saw some pigeons over there. Can't have the ones inside feeling left out. Going down. MJ, I'm at the first location on your list, and guess what I found?
Demons?
Give the lady a prize. See if you can figure out what they're up to while I introduce myself. You're just not very observant. Oh, sorry, did I startle you? Let's play the quiet game.
Spider-Man, Shocker has escaped, and now he's robbing a bank on East 31st.
What happened? I thought he was behind bars.
He was, but one of the guards just walked up to his cell and released him, then gave him his suit back.
I knew Shocker was working for someone. What did you get out of the guard?
Wish I could ask him, but he's dead. Whoever made him release Shocker didn't want any loose ends.
Damn.
Looking at the security footage, the guard was in some kind of trance. And it might have been the lighting, but it looked like his eyes were glowing.
Well, that's crazy. Okay, I'll see what I can get out of Shocker when I get to the bank. Herman! Long time no see. Hey, I'm no lawyer, but I'm pretty sure that's a parole violation. Oops, guess we're stuck in here for a while. Want to play 20 questions? No? How about we thumb wrestle? Okay, face punch it is. Whoa! Your gauntlets are all digital now, aren't they?
Have it your way. You wanna fight? Let's fight!
Man, can't wait to put you back behind bars so we can talk science. Remember our first fight? Me so young and stupid, you just stupid.
You talk too much!
Well, that's a matter of opinion. I mean, are there any standard metrics for how much talking one should do? And who determines the ideal ratio of talking versus not talking? Also, how would you measure? Now I can do some real damage. Why are you doing this, Herman?
Don't kill me!
Come clean, I can help you!
You really want to help me? Don't let me have the money!
Sorry, not gonna happen. banks anymore. You're lucky you found actual cash. If you really want to rob banks, try day trading. It's all the rage. Oh, come on, Herman.
Not even sure these guys are people. Could be anything under those masks.
Wait, did you say masks? This one's gonna hurt. These mascots, what do they want the money for?
Don't know, don't care. Soon as I finish the job, I'm gone.
Coming your way! Give up now and we can protect you!
No way! You ain't see what I do! What the? You son of a...
Okay, last chance to give up. This time I really mean it.
Quit moving!
Okay, I was kidding before. Now is your last chance. Seriously. Sorry, Herman. You brought this on yourself. Literally.
プレイステーション